Oh, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. As always, it's Friday night, and by God, we're alive. Barely, but we're alive. I hope you guys are having an okay night. Thank you so much. Hello, Gemini. Good to see you. She's over in the TFR chat saying hello. And special thank you to the fourth caller. He is... Fourth caller is the very first member of our YouTube channel.
Yay!
I just set up memberships for those of you that want to help support the show and be a part of the club even more if you're able to. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That goes a long way to help us progress and to open up new pathways of possibility for the Paranormal Portal. But before I go any further, let me introduce the big toe himself, my right hand, my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard. That's you, Don.
Oh, that was my cue.
That was it. That's all I got.
This is my cue. Hi, all. How are you? Hey, special thanks to Fourth Color. Yeah, that just got done, and so we appreciate it very much.
Absolutely.
We do. How has your day been?
Mine has been okay. It's been kind of fragmented and going 1,000 different directions, but it's as good as I can make it, so that's good.
Yeah, I've already been up to Bonner's Ferry and then back down there and Bonner. Yeah, it's been a long day.
It's been a long day too. Yeah.
Long day.
But I tell you what, there's no better way to cap off the day than to be right here live with all of you. Thank you so much for being here.
No, Matthew, it does not.
Spending does the membership come with a detachable long beard? Nope, you've got to grow the real deal. That's a different membership altogether.
That's a special brotherhood.
That's the long beards, of which I cannot qualify. I can barely grow whiskers as it is, so that's why I got this little fun patch here, or whatever the hell they call them. But
It's a soul patch.
soul patch, as it
Soul
were,
patch.
and the mustache. So, at any rate, we have a whole bunch of fun to bring you tonight, of course. But before we go any further, just a special thanks to one of the sponsors of the Paranormal Portal, and that is, of course, Cryptid Coin.
Cryptid coin.
It's a beast.
It's a
of an
beast.
investment.
Yes.
It's a newer cryptocurrency that has its heart right in cryptid research and investigation. If you're looking for a cryptocurrency investment, maybe this is the one you need. So check it out. To learn more, you can go to cryptidcoin.io. Again, cryptidcoin.io, and see what you think. But it's available on PancakeSwap, so it's easier than ever to get involved if that is what you're looking for. So special thanks to Cryptid Coin for sponsoring or being a sponsor of the Paranormal Portal. So, Don,
Yes, sir.
we got a lot on the board here tonight.
We do?
I got a boatload of the news.
The news?
Are you ready for the news?
Why, certainly.
All right, let's get to the news, folks.
No.
And absolutely. All right, ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
not what
welcome to
your
the
mama
Paranormal
said.
Portal News Desk. For those of you listening on TFR or iHeart, TuneIn, or TalkStream Live, it was an extra long intro because we got an extra long intro on our YouTube.
That's
so
what she said.
thanks to Mr. Wes Germer, of Sasquatch Chronicles. Oh God, you didn't. You did. Hey Ruger, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
It reminds me of a game show as well. You know?
It kind of does it, but that's kind of like the Portal. It's just a game show of fun, ladies and gentlemen. Let me pull over my chat and I'll get things lined up.
Toss.
It's everything here's a coin toss,
my
dude.
goodness.
Don't start acting like we know what we're doing. God,
Unrealistic expectations.
absolutely. Don't raise the bar, Don. That just causes problems for later. So here we go,
That's
ladies.
what she said.
Oh God. You're getting the wah-wahs for that one. That's it. Oh, you can't use the she said thing more than once in a show.
And that's what she said.
Oh, God. I'm not even going to give you a sound effect anymore. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first up to bat on our newscast for tonight from the Paranormal Portal News Desk is from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is a mystery surrounds 19th century vampire hunting kit. This is a brand new one from July 1st, 2022, and you see these old kits that are available on like Etsy and other sites.
Right.
I don't think many of them are really that old. They might have old components like an older case, that kind of thing, but I think most of them are just manufactured or whatever. But I'm curious what this one looks like. It says a wooden box containing everything a person would need to combat vampires is sold for over $15,000.
Was that gold plated?
I don't know. It should have been for that price. The kit, which was once owned by British peer Lord Haley, looks like something that might have been carried by Van Helsing, a fictional vampire expert often portrayed as the nemesis to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Finely crafted, a wooden box contains a wealth of tools and weapons, including 2 pistols, a wooden stake, a bottle of holy water, a crucifix, a brass powder flask, a Bible, and some beads. It's not... What are the beads for?
Well, I would imagine rosary, but...
Okay, there you go. That makes more sense. It didn't sound right at all. I went full gutter on that one. Sorry, folks. It's not clear, however, how seriously Lord Haley actually took the threat of vampires. Vampires have been part of popular culture for more than 200 years, said auctioneer Charles Hanson. They are enshrined in European folklore. The publication of John Polidori's The Vampire in 1819 had a major impact that was followed by Bram Stoker's 1897 classic Dracula. However, a belief in vampires and strange superstitions go back even further and persist to this day. If you listen to the podcast, we had a guest who had an encounter with a vampire. The task of killing a vampire was extremely serious, and historical accounts suggest the need for particular methods and tools, and the kit ended up selling for over $15,000, which was 5 times its initial guide price. And there's a picture
There's a
of it.
guide price?
I guess.
Like these
Well,
things sell so often that there's a guide price.
No, I think
It's like
they.
looking at it's like looking in the Beckett going, oh, look, my King Griffey Jr. is not worth crap.
Yeah, no, I think
Because
it's
he's not
more
worth
like
crap.
I think in the auction guide for that auction they probably had
they
it
said
with a suggested price or
$3,000.
expected. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So there you go. There's a picture for those of you that are on YouTube. You can see it, and it looks like a lot of the kits that you see
Is that
out
a
there.
mallet?
You got to pound that steak in somehow, Don.
That is an awesome mallet.
That's a pretty epic mallet. That's true. A big wooden mallet for the wooden steak. Yeah.
No doubt.
And it's not the kind of steak you throw on the grill.
No, you steak what you put on the grill first.
Ooh, hey, there you go. All right, so there you go, folks. That was the first article up for grabs here on the newscast for the
Ruger
night.
says, hey, Maggie, thank you. Woo-hoo.
Did Maggie do it?
Yeah. Maggie
thank you,
has
Maggie.
an official O after her name as well.
Aw.
Yay.
That O stands for aw. That's what that means. And if you notice, that's a custom badge. I made it in Photoshop with made the O with the strike through, much like in our title, our logo for sure. So there you go, folks. Thank you so much. And again, it's not expected, but it's certainly appreciated. But,
Oh, definitely.
All right, we got another one here up for your listening and viewing pleasures, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.com.
Okay.
Did you read the headline?
I read the headline.
Don's reading ahead. He's getting the sneak peeks, folks. But
is that a Sasquatch? Is that what that is?
yeah.
Oh.
I did a UFO, a ghost, a Sasquatch, and a Dogman.
Oh, wow.
All right, so
Hey, Nate. How you doing? Nate Rudd's here.
Nate, good to see you. Thanks
Hey.
for coming in. All right, so this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. It turns out North Korea blames alien things for the spread of COVID.
Alien things.
There's so much backwards about North Korea, and while I understand there's the whole idea if aliens are here, could they be spreading germs? Maybe.
That would explain why Kim Jong-il played a round of golf and only scored 21.
He's pretty epic at that golf and stuff, huh?
Yeah, well,
The notorious insular country has offered up a rather unusual explanation for the origin of its COVID outbreak. If there's one thing we can expect from North Korea after all these years, it's a less than honest appraisal of exactly how coronavirus, which seemed to have mostly avoided the country for the majority of the pandemic, ended up spreading like wildfire there in recent months. According to state media in Pyongyang, the outbreak in the country began when citizens touched alien things, which had landed near the border with South Korea. It might sound odd, however, this is unlikely to be the reference to extraterrestrial visitors. Instead, the media is referring to South Korea, which has often sent balloons northward to deliver leaflets and even humanitarian aid over the border. And according to the report, a soldier and a small child contracted COVID-19 after finding the alien object in the hills near the border, after which the virus rapidly spread throughout the population. Citizens were expected to vigilantly deal with alien things coming by wind and other climate phenomena and balloons in the areas along with the demarcation line at the borders. South Korea has since denied, however, that the virus could have reached North Korea in this way. Yeah, you kind of need close proximity. It's not like you can sneeze into a hanky and throw it by balloon over the fence and days later somebody might find it.
Well, I don't know. Japan tried to send a bunch of balloons over with bombs on it.
Oh yeah, well, how'd that work out?
Yeah. Well, we're still finding them to this day, actually.
Yeah, there you go. That was not a very well thought out plan. But anyway, that's what's going on in North Korea. In case you wondered, some people are wondering. I think we're all wondering what's going on up there, to be honest. Here's another one from unexplained-mysteries.com. This one is kind of cool. It's more technology kind of news. And I don't know how big this one is. I didn't look. No, it's fine. It says SpaceX is preparing to test its super heavy booster stage. Ooh. I think they're gearing up for Mars, Don.
You think so?
I think so.
Wow.
The enormous rocket booster has been wheeled out onto the launch pad ahead of a test flight later this summer. Man, they'd wheel it out now?
Yeah.
Must take a while, huh? This prototype, which is known as Booster 7, boy, they didn't stay in committee long for that name, did they?
Nope.
is certainly a sight to behold, equipped with 33 Raptor engines. The booster will undergo testing at SpaceX's Boca Chica facility in Texas before being combined with the Starship second stage for a test flight into orbit. While Musk has claimed that this flight could take place as early as next month, this date is currently a little dubious, and it's more likely that the launch will happen later in the year. When the two stages are combined, the rocket will stand at a whopping 394 feet in height. Its enormous size will make it possible to transport dozens of passengers and large payloads into space and eventually to other worlds such as the moon and Mars. While it might seem a bit overkill in the short term, there's no doubt that the ability to haul huge loads into space will prove invaluable once construction of a new space station or lunar outpost begins. Suffice to say, once this thing launches, it should be quite the spectacle. Yeah,
imagine that thing's longer than a football field. It's 94 feet longer than a football field.
That's amazing. That's a lot of engine.
Wow.
That is really pretty amazing. I bet you it's going to really scream through space. Boom. But hopefully in a good way. Anyway, that's some technology news coming at you here on the Paranormal Portal.
I wonder how fast that'll get us to Mars.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Probably still take a long time, 6 months or so, but maybe not. The next up on the unexplained-mysteries.com news is unidentified spacecraft debris. Spacecraft.
Did you say crap?
I just said spacecraft. Sorry, folks. Unidentified spacecraft debris spotted on the surface of the moon. It says NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has captured an image of a mystery rocket part on the lunar surface. How long is... No, this is fine. The debris, which appears circular in shape, has generated quite a bit of interest on social media recently, with some conspiracy theorists claiming that it is evidence of undocumented visits to the moon or even signs of intelligent extraterrestrials. Officially, the object in the photograph is believed to be a component from a man-made spacecraft. However, specifically which spacecraft and who sent it continues to remain a genuine mystery.
Just like the Black Knight.
Right, huh?
Yeah.
It was originally thought that the debris was from a SpaceX launch. However, there is also a chance that it could be from a spacecraft launched by China. According to reports, the objects impacted the lunar surface on March 4th of this year. NASA maintains that an analysis of the crash site could help to determine the origin of the debris. The double crater was unexpected and may indicate that the rocket body had large masses at each end. The space agency wrote, typically a spent rocket has a mass concentrated at the motor end, and the rest of the rocket stage mainly consists of empty fuel tank. Since the origin of the rocket body remains uncertain, the double nature of the crater may indicate its identity. Well, there you go. There's the double crater.
Well, maybe it bounced.
Maybe. I mean, there is gravity there.
Stuff bounces.
That's a possibility here. Yeah, whatever happened, there you go. That's another piece of...
Maggie, you have permission to use the A in that word. It's okay.
Okay, I'm not sure what that word is, but...
Crap.
Oh, yeah. By all means.
She used the at symbol. It's like, okay, you're allowed, though.
All right.
Especially you, because you're green now.
Oh, really? No. All right. Here we go.
No special favors. Okay, fine.
Well, we're all family here. It's just really cool if those.
Hi, Gigi.
Able
nice to see you.
All right. Here's the next one up for bat on unexplained-mysteries.com.
Space bear.
This one has to do with Bill Clinton. So he's still in the news every once in a while. It says Bill Clinton talks about UFOs in Late Show interview. This is from June 17th. It's a few weeks old.
Why didn't he just serve his presidency in a late show?
I don't know. He did a few of those during his campaigning as well. The former president of the United States briefly touched upon the phenomena and the possibilities of alien life. If there's one group of people who should know more than most about the U.S. government's investigations into the UFO phenomena, it's those that once made the White House their home. Several former presidents have commented on the topic over the years, and now Bill Clinton, who sat in office between 1993 and 2001, has become the latest to offer his views. During an appearance on the Late Show with James Corden on Wednesday, he suggested, in tongue-in-cheek fashion, that he had looked into the subject while he was president. We made every attempt to find out about Roswell, and we also sent people to Area 51 to make sure there were no aliens, he said. When Corden asked him who he had sent, Clinton quipped, "Oh, if I told you that." Bump. Also during the interview, Clinton recalled paying a visit to a telescope in Hawaii, where he spoke to an international team of researchers who had been working there. He said that he had asked them about the likelihood of there being alien life in the universe, to which the scientist suggested that there was an 85 to 95% chance of this being true. If you check out a clip from the interview below, well, it's there. We're not going to spend any time on that, but there you go. I had heard many times in the history since he was president that he was basically stonewalled in his attempts. They were like, nope, you don't need to know.
Right.
And I don't think that generally speaking, that whoever runs those programs feels the need to inform the presidents, whoever they are at the time. So that's that one. How are we doing for time here? Let's have a peek. Oh, I got 7 minutes. I got more news than I got time, Don.
Wow.
This one's kind of scary. This is coming from the archives, and I don't know what you think of this, but man, I've had big phone bills in my life, but this one I think would terrify me.
What?
Yep, you saw it, Don. It's from unexplained-mysteries.com. Woman receives 17-figure phone bill. This is from October 14th of 2012. A former teaching assistant was shocked to receive a phone bill for, I don't even know, is that millions, billions, trillions, quadrillion, 11 quadrillion,
Wow.
721 trillion euros.
Is she calling the moon?
I don't know. The unnamed woman, who currently lives in France, claimed that she almost had a heart attack when she opened the letter to view the total of the bill and discovered that she owed a figure so high that she couldn't even comprehend the amount. She said, there were so many zeros, I couldn't even work out how much it really was, she said. Incredibly, the company responsible for issuing the obvious misprint initially maintained that they couldn't do anything about it and offered to set up installments for her to pay back the bill, which came to a number 6,000 times the entire economic output of the country.
Wow.
Eventually, they acknowledged their mistake and retracted the demand.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That would, imagine taking that to court.
Yeah.
How do you plead? Innocent? I know I didn't call. 17 quadrillion dollars worth of time.
Wow.
That is scary.
Talking about long distance. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Well, and it's just another indication that sometimes the people pushing the buttons are just drones.
Right.
They don't. I mean, it doesn't take critical thinking to think how did this woman generate 11 quadrillion dollars in phone bill? Well, she probably didn't. But either that or there's some really bad phone service.
Yeah.
Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us man dies after eating cockroach contest. After cockroach eating contest, rather.
Oh.
This is also from the archives from 2012, October 9th. Edward Archibald collapsed and died after scoffing dozens of live insects as part of the event.
Oh, my goodness.
30 contestants turned up at a San Siegel reptile store near Miami to take part in the peculiar event, which involved eating large quantities of live cockroaches and other critters. Archibald actually won the contest.
Oh, my.
I don't think so, but soon complained of feeling ill before collapsing outside the store. He was taken to hospital, but was later pronounced dead. Authorities are now investigating the cause. Unless these roaches were contaminated with some bacteria or other pathogens, I don't think that cockroaches would be unsafe to eat, said entomology professor Michael Adams. The insects used in the contest were taken from domestically bred stock used as food for reptiles.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if there's mercury in their diet or something, maybe. I don't know.
What was the last piece there? It says a contestant in the...
Oh, it's just
it's
it's
just
another,
a summation.
yeah. Usually there's an image here, and I think that's just the tag for the image.
You know, that's yeah, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You're absolutely right, Maggie. What was he gonna?
I don't know what he won. I don't know.
Well, he won indigestion and death. So
yeah,
you know.
Woo! I'm glad I didn't compete for that one.
You know, I wonder though, because you know, like even like mice, you know, they don't immediately die from decon, or not actually decon, but there's another one that they can carry around for a while, and they take it. It gets back to the nest and it kills everything in the nest.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, I mean...
Maybe something like that. Maybe they had some pesticides in them. And collectively it added up to be a lot.
Yeah, like 70 quadrillion, 17 quadrillion.
Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us the last story in our newscast tonight. Hospital removes eel from man's posterior.
What the?
Wonder how that got there.
I don't know. It's like a hairless rodent.
A man had managed to get an eel stuck in his rectum, sought assistance from the Auckland Hospital. This again is from 2012. No explanation has been provided as to how the unnamed individual got himself into such a bizarre predicament. But a hospital spokesman has confirmed that the case was genuine. Fortunately, doctors were able to remove the creature, and the man was later discharged and sent home. The eel was about the size of a decent sprig of asparagus, and the incident is the talk of the place.
You think?
Says spokesman. Doctors and nurses have come across people with strange objects that have gotten stuck where they shouldn't be before, but an eel has to be a first. I don't know. I'm just going to leave that there. That's all kinds of disturbing. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a production of the Paranormal Portal News.
No matter how disturbing.
Oh, it's all kinds of disturbing. All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Paranormal Portal newscast. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found that entertaining at least a little bit. But I like doing the news. I hope you guys do too. I mean, it's obviously a lot of fun to talk about all these weird things, not just the paranormal weird things, but all the other weird things as well. And unfortunately, there seems to be plenty of those going on in our world of intrigue. I don't know.
Oh,
what do you call that?
That's disturbing.
Oh, no. Do I want to know?
No.
Okay, never mind. I'm not asking. Don't ask, don't tell, Don. That's the portal theory here.
No, that okay. Well, all
It
right.
is now. But we're down to about a minute left.
No.
I just want to take a minute and let you guys know about Phenomicon, because that's where Don and I are going to be on September 8th through the 11th. And maybe Sheldon. Not sure if that's going to happen or not. But Phenomicon is an event happening in Vernal, Utah. And there's some pretty epic things happening in this event.
Yeah, we're going to be there.
Well, that's epic all by itself. But it's happening September 8th through the 11th. And there's so many incredible guests going to be there, speakers and presenters. Jeff Meldrum's going to be there, Russ Accord, Ronnie LeBlanc, Maria Mayer, and Bryce Johnson are all going to be there, as well as the cast from the Skinwalker Ranch show are going to be there as well. And that's all of these people, I think. Thomas Winterton, Dr. Travis Taylor, who just came out as one of the Pentagon's secret scientists for their UFO investigations. And all of these people are just incredible. So it's going to be a fun event. Again, 8th through the 11th of September. Go to phenomicon.net to check it out. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for a break. We'll be right back.
Ants think summer all winter.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it. Thanks, Mom. Mom gave me my allowance. That's okay. She meant up to sign up to be a member and ended up giving me an allowance instead. But either way, Mom, thank you. And I don't know. There should be a join button down there. It's different.
Yeah, it's on the show your support. It's the $ down there.
Yeah.
And then it says, it doesn't say it to me anymore because I'm already a member. But
yeah.
It asks if you want to be a member. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so that's how it should show up. It should there. If you're on a computer, you should see join. I'm not sure on mobile what that looks like. I don't know, folks. Well, but thank you to those of you that can and are able to. Again, it's not expected, but it's really appreciated if that's possible. Again, we're talking about memberships on our YouTube page. Just to let you guys know that is an option now, just to help the portal grow, hopefully. So mine doesn't have that option, but I'm on my phone.
And besides, Mom, you don't want to turn green. It's okay.
Mom doesn't want to turn green?
Well, no, she said obviously that's not what I wanted to do. Didn't turn green, but that's okay. I support my Donnie. Yeah, there you go.
Aw, thanks, Mom.
You don't got to turn green to support him.
You
being here is support enough, really.
You're lovely no matter what color you are, Mom. All right, so we've got a lot more paranormal and good things to get.
Jealous.
Ooh, there we go. Karen.
Hey, thank you, Karen.
Thank you very much. Very sweet. Love you guys a bunch. That's very nice. All right, so let's get to some more paranormal. What do you say, Don?
Let's get paranormal.
We are paranormal.
Very normal.
We are paranormal, but I'm going to pull up some stuff I want to get to. First off, tonight, I'm going to start out with a few of these articles from Phantoms and Monsters. I've been teasing these for weeks, and so many things come up. Also, if you want to call in and be a part of the show, feel free. The numbers are right. If you're on YouTube, the number is right below my face and right below Don's face.
My beard. It's below my beard.
Right, it's touching your beard. Yeah. It's because it's a long beard. All right, yeah, dust it off, clean it up. But that's the number to call in if you got something paranormal you want to share. We'd love to hear from you. That's always an option as we go through the shows. But that was one of the best parts of the shows, in my opinion, is when you guys call in. But I love doing the shows no matter what, and I got a bunch of material pulled up. And first off, we're going to visit phantomsandmonsters.com. And this is Lon Strickler's site. He's been on the show a few times. Great guy, and has a fantastic site. Phantoms and Monsters is another one of those sites that's kind of a pillar in the paranormal and Fortean community for quite a while. Yeah, and Lon is also a podcast host with Phantoms and Monsters Radio, and you can find all of the information about his podcast as well as all the fantastic. Wow, I was just like I almost stroked out there, Don.
All right, your two brain cells reached each other.
Yeah, they bumped into each other, and I had a bit of a stroke there. But it's a fantastic site full of amazing claims, also some research that they do. So it's a phenomenal resource for anybody interested in the paranormal Fortean topics. But the first one we're going to visit tonight is an article that was posted on June 10th of this year, and it's Flying Anomalies. Cryptids reported manta ray-shaped being, thunderbirds, and bat-like humanoid. So those are a lot of different phenomena, but I think the thunderbirds are one of the ones that really make me go, wow. You know, are the thunderbirds really these giant birds? Like, they look like raptors of some kind, but they're enormous. Oh, hey, Ron. Thanks for becoming a member, brother. I appreciate it. And, I know the claims of the Thunderbirds go back to the First Nations. Mm-hmm. And so this is not a new phenomena. And, of course, Mothman or some such creature has been reported for quite a long time. And a lot of people tie that to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. But honestly, there's still claims going on to this day of Mothman being seen not only around the Point Pleasant area, but also in the Chicago, O'Hare Airport area and surrounding communities, the Great Lakes regions in whatever that phenomena is. I don't know, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Hold on.
Thank you. Thank you, Gigi. To the ghouls that love the weird. Nice tag on there. Jeez. All right, so we're going to get into this article. Let's start out here. Again, this is phantomsandmonsters.com. Special thanks to Lon for letting us use the material in the show. 3 recently received reports of flying anomalies. Oh, my God, what's going on? Wow. It's just I feel like we won an award. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank my mom.
Thank you. Yes, especially Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on.
So, first one is, hello, Lon. I've seen something in March 2022 in western New York. I was out for an early morning walk around 6:45 a.m. when I noticed something crossing the road about 40 feet from me. It was an off-white color, almost a teardrop shape. It was about 2 feet off the ground, seemingly flying since I couldn't see anything from it leading to the ground. When I first noticed it, I saw it for about 2 seconds, in which time it flew about 5 feet distance while maintaining an altitude of 2 feet. After 2 seconds, it seemed to flip sideways, at which point I couldn't see it anymore. But I stayed focused on what its course was, and sure enough, it flipped back to an angle that I could see it again. So is that a 2-dimensional thing, Don?
It's Flatlander.
Right. I mean, we were just talking about that kind of thing.
I wonder if it's a halibut, a flying halibut.
Right. It would. Yeah. Are the flat ones?
Yeah.
On the bottom of the. Is that a?
Yeah.
Okay.
Halibut, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean.
A flounder. That's
but
a flounder.
but I'm saying, it disappeared once it
that's
flipped,
crazy.
and then reappeared when she just followed the trajectory of it, or he.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which is which, but yeah, I think that's very interesting. So, and it goes on to say, again, I couldn't see it for about 2 seconds, and then it flipped back, so I couldn't see it. Or I could see it for about 2 seconds. It flipped back, and I couldn't see it. And this happened 4 times in total as it traveled about 40 feet from the road where I first saw it, until it disappeared from my view behind a house. Very odd indeed. It was a cold morning with a light misty rain and foggy in spots. It wasn't very big, maybe 12 inches at its widest point, which was from front to back, about 8 inches side to side. But it must have been very thin, like 1 inch thick, because when it was flipped, I couldn't see it at all until it flipped back. I was left wondering what I had just seen, and after a few minutes, I remembered about the flying rays, and I assumed that that's what I saw. Nothing else fits in describing what I saw that morning. Oh, wow. Kirsten, thank you. All right. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, guys. That's incredible. Here's the next one. So that does sound like it might be that maybe these manta things are more like a 2-dimensional kind of creature.
I don't know though. I mean, so they said they couldn't see it at all.
Right. Once it flipped.
Right.
So it flipped. It was invisible. Once it flipped back after a few seconds, it was visible. Then it flipped and was invisible. Then flipped again. So it was like it had length and width, but it had no depth.
Well, there was foggy spots, so it was a cold and light, misty morning.
It was light misty.
Foggy
I mean,
sports.
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, we weren't there, so we can only judge it based on the narrative we're
Until it
given.
flipped back, yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
but that's very, very unusual.
Ah.
All right, next one up is, I live in Oklahoma, and along with my friends back in 1993, we're a part of a gang, Neighborhood 90 Gangsta Crip. Neighborhood 90 Gangster Crypt. Not crypt. Always strapped and ready to fight because of other gangs. And it seemed cliche, but one stormy night, they walked to the store. Then a couple of minutes later, they came busting back through the door and said that they were attacked by 2 large birds. They gave the description and said that they were on top of the trees, and then they seen them. They swooped down and tried to swoop them up. We asked how large, and they were, as we thought that they were talking about turkey vultures, and they said that the talons there were as big as they were as large as their faces, and the wingspan was at least 20 feet. Seeing them scared made me believe they were telling the truth. Then in 1996, me and my wife were driving from Oklahoma City to Luther, Oklahoma on a stormy night. And as we're going around a bend in the road, my wife said, "Stop the car," and said, "What's that in the trees?" These trees are about 3 stories, and we see 2 huge, all black birds. They were with their wings spread out, and they take flight. Since then, no one can tell me thunderbirds do not exist.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Yep, even the gangsters aren't safe, dude.
Yep.
Strapped or not, man. That's incredible. I guess that would have to be a horrifying experience, because something with if a wingspan was really 20 feet, that's a hell of a lot of lift.
That's a lot.
They could probably carry a decent sized person away.
Yeah.
Probably not me though. I think I'm safe.
Eat cake.
Eat more cake. That's how you protect against that. Sounds like a Tesseract 4D object. Yeah, maybe so. It was next one is it was 2011 in San Luis Obispo in California. I was in this old internment camp built in 1942, and it was a foggy night, cloudy.
There's no such thing as an internment camp.
Oh, well, there must have been during World War II, right? For the Japanese residents that were rounded
Never
up.
happened.
Well, I don't know. I think it did. But anyway, there's tons of wildlife, deer, turkey, cats, etc. in this river trail. A few of us were on the bleachers, and one of the guys there was a few feet from me looking up at the sky. Then he started calling my name. I was busy talking to the other guys, and he said my name a few times before I said, "What's up?" He nodded and said, "Look up." I looked up. It was a flying bat-like humanoid with cloudy, milky skin. He had to be like 7 or 8 feet tall with a wingspan of like 11 feet, which is not a lot. Gliding above all the wildlife, and he was like 50 yards up in the sky, roughly to the right 45 degrees up. Seen it for like 10 seconds. It glided behind the clouds and disappeared. Then we looked at each other like, what the hell? Well, it's an F, but anyway, we're going to say H. So my theory is that these predators are really intelligent, and they know when to hunt on cloudy days when there will be less seen and detected. On clear nights, no creature ever flew by, but that day it was cloudy, foggy, and visibility was minimal. But when we seen him, there was a break in the clouds. Yeah, that's very bizarre. I don't know, those winged cryptid things are strange.
No, yeah.
I mean, what are your take on them? Do you believe that there are winged cryptids?
Well, Bat Squatch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Bat Squatch.
But yeah, because we hear about the Mothman all the time. I mean, but and Thunderbirds have been like the story said, they've been around for as long as there's been the native people,
Sure.
So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. There's got to be, and we talk about how, pterodactyls and such, they might, fly through like time displacements, things like that, portals,
Sure.
if you will. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy, whatever they are, man.
Awesome.
It's freaking awesome, I tell you. But that's the first article from Phantoms and Monsters. I think it's very compelling stuff. It's hard to know, are these things here all the time? Are they just here sometimes? Is there some anomaly that they can peek through in and be in our world for a period of time? I don't know. I guess I don't probably believe in many cases these things are around all of the time.
Right.
But where are they when they're not? I don't know.
They're not here.
Yeah, they don't seem to be here, because if you had a bird with a 20-foot wingspan
Yeah.
and it was flying around populated areas
Kinda
regularly,
hard to miss it.
right? It's not, again, let's just say, for instance, you had a bird with a 20-foot wingspan. Now, that bird with a 20-foot wingspan needs to live. Mm-hmm. And if you look at just like the birds in your neighborhood, how often do they have to run around, fly around, go to feeders and feed and go through the grass? And they have to pretty much continuously be hunting for sustenance.
Right.
Insects, bugs, berries, whatever. And so it's not like they can just take a week off, they'll die. Well, something that big would need to hunt pretty aggressively, I would suppose.
I would imagine kind of like on the same schedule as like a, Bigfoot.
Right. And which we
a lot too.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't know anything about them, obviously, but they just seem to not be here because they would be observed.
Right.
I mean, I don't think that these things are probably intelligent enough to go, hey, stay away from the people. They might see us,
They'll
They're
turn us into barbecue. Well, at least that bearded one will.
Yeah, just stay away from his house. He's got a pretty big freezer and a grill.
It's a 5-family freezer. It's okay.
Yeah, well, it's disturbing. But anyway, I think that they're probably not here all the time, but when they are, they seem to be a very real phenomena.
Oh.
So I don't have answers, but I got a whole boatload of questions. All right, let's go to the next one from Phantoms and Monsters. Eventually, here we go. Here's another winged creature that we're going to discuss, and this one's a massive bat-winged creature, possible ahul, and that's from the Philippines. I think the ahul is either Philippines or Vietnam, Asia, somewhere.
Oh, the a-holes, yeah.
Don't
be an a-hole.
Don't be an ahul,
Or
and don't put up with ahuls in your neighborhood. I don't know. Encountered in Orlando, Florida, though, of all places. So, massive bat-winged creature. It's Batman.
It's a D-hole.
Oh, the D-holes.
So don't be an a-hole or a D-hole.
That's right. I got you. Now, an Orlando, Florida man was driving to work and encounters a truck-sized flying bat near Orange County Jail. Again, this is Florida. Described as 10-plus feet long and massive membrane wings with a gorilla-like face. Is this Bat Squatch? There you go, Don. You mentioned it.
There you go.
It says, I recently received the following account early morning around 4:30 a.m. on Sunday, April 3rd, 2022. I was on my way to work at Tires Plus in Orlando, Florida. The route I drove every day was a large, mostly busy street called John Young Parkway. Bless you. About halfway through my drive, I always drive underneath an overpass for I-4, and immediately after the overpass on my left-hand side is the Orange County Corrections Department, the county jail. John Young Parkway is normally a very busy street during the day, but since it was very early on a Sunday, I barely saw anyone else on the road. Being a warm April morning, I had my window rolled down and I was listening to an audiobook. Just before I got to the I-4 overpass, I start hearing a very loud flapping noise. It sounded like one of those enormous American flags that fly outside of big car dealerships. When I first heard it, I thought it was maybe a truck with a flat tire driving on I-4, but as I got closer, it kept getting louder and my car started shaking. I don't drive a small car either. I drive a mid-sized SUV. As soon as I began going under the overpass, I see something in the corner of my eye to the left. When I turn to look out my window, I see a monster-sized bat flying next to me under the overpass for I-4 on a busy Orlando street. I realize that it is probably the most obscure place something like this could be, and it's a very unbelievable story, but that's the reason I've only been able to tell a handful of people. The bat was larger than a truck. It had light brown fur, the body looked at least 10 feet long, and its wingspan could have been twice that. Its face didn't necessarily look like a regular bat face. It had a flat snub nose and a vampire, like a vampire bat, but looked more like a gorilla or almost man-like except for the two large fangs hanging from the top of its mouth. The fangs were only about 6 inches long. Only? Really? That's like a banana, for God's sakes.
In a hammock.
Yeah. About 6 inches long, and they curved out a little, kind of like tusks. It was flying almost 20 feet away from me, but it never looked at me or acknowledged me.
Thank God.
Yeah, no doubt. Each time it flapped its wings, it made the loudest noise I've ever heard and shook my car violently. While it was next to me, it looked like it was struggling to fly, like it was too heavy to keep itself airborne. When its wings were up, I could see veins and cartilage through the membrane portion of its wings. Its legs were long and skinny, covered with the same light brown fur as its body, and its feet had long toes with claws at the end, and I don't know how many toes it had. I never thought to count. It had a thin tail, about 4 feet long, and a patch of darker black fur at the end, almost like a cow's tail. After we got out from under the overpass, it shot upward and started flying higher and higher until it was almost out of sight. It turned left and flew along I-4. At this point, I had already rolled my window up and pulled to the side of the road. I started dialing 911, but I stopped myself and tried to think. I knew I wasn't tired or half asleep. I don't take any drug, prescription, or recreational, and I don't drink. I just didn't know what to tell the police or anybody. I knew nobody would believe or think nobody would believe me or think I was drunk or intoxicated. And if the police did come, I didn't know what they would or could do. I was shaken the entire day. The first person I told, of course, was my fiance. Although she was considerate about how I felt, I don't think she believed any of it, or at least thinks I was seeing things. And I had also told my younger brother the next day because he had always been a firm believer in cryptids and anything supernatural. He told me it sounded like I might have seen an a-hole, and I've never heard of an a-hole before, but after he told me, I looked online as to what it was, and the description matched what I saw almost exactly. I have never been a believer of Bigfoot, Mothman, or anything of that nature. I'd always thought that something that big living in an area would be discovered and documented easily. But after seeing a truck-sized bat flying under a busy interstate in the middle of Orlando, I believe any of it can be real. I'm doubtful that anyone will actually believe me on the story. I wouldn't believe me if anyone told me this story before April, but I had to at least try to tell someone. I don't want to sound dramatic, but that morning changed my life and changed how I see the world. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's absolutely terrifying.
So I found Biology Online.
Mm-hmm.
Says a-hole. The a-hole is a flying cryptid, supposedly a giant bat, or by other accounts, a living...
You stopped. What happened?
Yeah, because I can't pronounce this word.
Oh.
It totally went right out of my head.
Where's the word?
It's that word right there.
Pterosaur.
Okay.
Pterosaur.
All right.
Yeah.
A living pterosaur or a flying primate. Okay, now we got flying monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Such a creature is unknown to science, and there's no objective evidence that exists as it claims. Like many cryptids, it's not well documented and little reliable information.
Thank you, Ghost Magnet.
There you go. It's said to live in the deepest rainforests of Java, and it describes having an ape or a monkey or ape-like head and large dark eyes, large claws on its forearms, approximately the size of an infant.
Wow.
The claws the size of an infant, or they are the size of an infant. And a body covered in gray fur. Possibly the most intriguing and astounding feature is that it's said to have a wingspan of 3 meters, which is about 10 feet. Mm-hmm. This is almost twice as long as the largest known bat in the world, the common flying fox. So there you go. That's a big...
That's a big...
for
big flying squatch. Bat squatch.
Bat squatch.
It might be a bat squatch. I don't know. That's pretty crazy. I don't know, folks, but there's another flying cryptid for your listening pleasure and viewing pleasure, as it were. It's a creepy looking thing. No question about that. We're down to about 2 minutes here. So
Ghost Magnet said she had to do it on the computer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I don't know what's up with the mobile version. I don't know.
Is that an OnlyFans by any chance?
You're trying to get people to join your OnlyFans?
Only if you want to be terrified.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be paranormal in and of itself, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of instant.
Don and his paranormal potatoes.
Taters.
Taters.
I don't know.
Taters.
I think these things are pretty bizarre. I don't doubt that people see them. It's just, it's hard to reconcile what the hell's going on with these situations. And you know, again, I don't think they're here all the time. I don't think they're just...
they fly in and out of our lives all the time.
Our existence is what it seems like. It's like they're just come and go. Now, is that another possible check mark to validate the idea that there are portals that open and close between realities? I don't know. I mean, is it feasible that in some reality these things are normal? Probably. I mean, when you think of the whole multiverse idea, there's nothing that's impossible, essentially. I mean, there's just anything you can think of is probably represented in some version of the multiverse.
Well, we've talked about Mel's Hole before, right? There's other places like that around the world.
Sure.
You know, so what if these are actually like not inner Earth type species
that's
that are using those as, and maybe that's why the government took over Mel's property. That kind of stuff. So who knows?
Just to bring you up to speed, what Don's talking about is Mel's Hole was made famous on Coast to Coast with Art Bell, actually, right?
Absolutely.
And just give people a brief description of it.
Well, it's supposedly a hole to hell. You know, it's just a holy hell. You know, they dropped. Well, this is back in the 90s, and it's been taken off the maps. The government has actually taken off like Google Earth and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's somewhere near. It's in Washington. I think it's near Euphrates. Up north above, the break, Moses Lake. I can't. Soap Lake area. There you go.
Anyway, speaking of holes, we'll be right back from this hole, this break hole. So don't go away for more of the Paranormal Portal.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed. I'm
Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Woo! Welcome back, everybody. We're back hitting the ground here on the portal. Starting hour number 2 already, if you can believe that.
Wow, that was crazy.
It is crazy, isn't it? It's like the time has just flown. It's screaming by, but as always, you know, that's how it works here on the portal.
That's right. We lose all time.
We do. What the hell did I just do? Jeez.
We lose a lot of things, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, did I open 2 of those? What did I do? No. Okay. All right, I got things going on all over the place here, folks, but I'm trying to sort it out. I think I've got it. I got everything.
Nice.
And remember, the phone lines are open. If you want to call in, you can do so by calling the number you see on your screen, or if you're only listening, you can call in by calling 720-923-0500. Those are the numbers for fun here on the Paranormal Portal. So... we've gone through a series of a couple of reports. Oh, thank you, Gigi. All right.
Oh,
Got a super chat. Thank you.
hooked on Donix? What the hell is that? Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. All right. So we have a whole lot more in the bag here for you. And right now we're going to move again back to Phantoms and Monsters because there's kind of a Dogman report here, it looks like, at least. I don't know how else you'd describe a 9-foot-tall bipedal canine, but that's what I would call it. Don, what do you think? Dogman? Let's just go with Dogman.
Sure will.
Just for the sake of brevity, so we can move forward. So we can move forward with this. All right, so this again is from
we can move on it.
We can move on.
Move on it.
Here we go. This one is 9-foot-tall bipedal canine stalks cabin in North Carolina mountains. So this is in Deb's area, I guess. June 14th, 2022. So it's a real new report. All right. And let's see what this one says. And it's quite a tale. All right. A group of friends are staying in a cabin in the Great Smoky Mountains in North Carolina. And they later encounter a tall, terrifying bipedal canine that watches them throughout the night. I don't think I could think of a worse kind of night than being watched by a 9-foot-tall dog man.
Yeah, that'd be disturbing. I don't know if I'd sleep.
No, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. This incident took place about 3 years ago. At the time, I was 17. And when 3 of my friends and I had been staying in a cabin in the Great Smoky Mountains of North Carolina. We were celebrating the end of our junior year of high school, and it was just the 4 of us. The first night we got there, we heard some noises from outside the cabin and an occasional tapping on the windows. Ooh, that's creepy. At about 1:30 in the morning, I did not want to look outside to see what it was. I did not want to, it says, okay. My friend did say that they couldn't see anything, so I looked out, but I couldn't see anything. The next morning, we went outside and saw some footprints around the cabin and into the woods. There were footprints like I've never seen before. Kind of long and narrow with obvious claw marks on the 4 toes. Fast forward to the night, and we decide to go outside and build a campfire. We're joking around, laughing, and having fun when we hear a growl from the woods. The shrubbery and smaller plants around us started moving, like swaying in the wind, even though there was no wind. I look behind me, and I instantly see 2 amber eyes staring at us. I turned to my friend and asked if he's seen it too. He looks at me, pale in the face, and asks me, what the hell is that thing? I tell me, it says I tell me, but I tell him that I don't know what it is, but it seems to be massive and I don't want to find out. So we start to run towards the cabin and I yell to the others what we saw. They immediately run with us and we are all in the cabin. They don't believe us and believe that we're just pranking them. After a few minutes, they look outside and it was standing about 30 feet from the cabin.
Wow.
I caught a quick glance, and this creature was bipedal, about 9 feet tall, grayish black hair, very muscular with these massive claws and huge fangs. We closed the blinds and tried to forget about the thing,
Because
but
that helps. It's like blanket time.
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. It's like pulling up the blanket when you see the figure walking towards your bed.
Blinds, it'll never come back.
Yeah, I'm just going to pretend that's not happening now. It says, let's say we closed the blinds and tried to forget about the thing, but we were absolutely terrified. Later that night, I went up to bed. I looked out my window. The creature was in the same area, now staring directly at me.
Ooh.
I thought about trying to take a photograph, but I truly didn't want to upset this thing. Needless to say, I didn't get any sleep that night, hoping daylight would soon come. The next day, we packed up and left, not wanting to spend another night in those woods. None of us even mentioned the incident among ourselves. This is the first time I've told anybody about this because I didn't think anybody would believe what I saw. The thought of that creature staring into my eyes from my bedroom window still haunts me. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think I would feel safe in the cabin, though, either. You know, it's like, nope, I'd be only feeling safe, like, being back away from there.
Right, yeah.
Not in that whole area.
Now, was this a guy or a girl?
No idea.
No idea, okay.
No reference to gender at all. In either case, I don't think it matters.
Well,
Because,
but, know,
no, I know what you mean. It's
yeah.
like guys are more bravado and girls are...
No.
No? Okay,
No.
what do you say?
Well, because there's been the question that if women are on their cycle.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so there you go.
There's that point too. Yeah, I mean, did that draw that out?
Is that why he was looking at her or him?
Yeah.
Or if in this case, if it was a her, that would, you know.
Very good point. Well, yeah, I would love to know. It's only signed by the initial J, so it could
J
be
for Jessica.
Jill, Jackie, Jack, Joe, John, or any number of names. So we don't know, but that is a good point. I mean, would it be something biological? Like there was some...
Gigi, I only bring up the information I know. I can't help it. You can do me all you want.
That's true. There's a lot of
Good night,
researchers.
Deb.
Oh, good night, Deb. A lot of researchers have utilized menses as a form to pull them out.
Right. Yeah.
Draw out both Bigfoot and maybe Dogman. I don't know if that's been used for Dogman, but it certainly could be. Maybe there's something to it.
Rachel says if the creature's that close, roll a d20.
Roll a what?
A d20.
What's a D? Oh, for the die? Oh
my goodness.
Like Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm going to roll for dexterity to evade as fast as I can.
I'm going to put a roll in my underwear, I think, is the only thing rolling.
Tootsie roll!
I don't think I'd be... I don't think I'd be handling that hole too well. You know, even as an adult, you know, you think when you're adult, you know, wow, I'm an adult now, but it wouldn't change a thing.
No, except
I would
my
still,
underwear.
I would still feel like a helpless kitten with something like that.
No doubt.
You know?
Wow, yeah.
That's horrifying. So,
That's crazy.
Amazing reports. Again, we don't see a lot of those, but they're out there. I mean, these things are out there. Here's another flying cryptid from June 11th, 2022 from Phantoms and Monsters. Oh, Karen. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
That's awesome. Wonderful, guys. Thank you so much for all the amazing supports. I didn't know how it'd be received. I'm just really thrilled that you guys like it and are wanting to take part. Very cool.
Absolutely.
Huge cryptid bird encountered by 1930s Canadian Mounties in northern wilderness.
Oh, wow.
So it's been going on for quite a while, Don, from the 30s even,
well, you know,
for the Mounties.
You know, they got to drink something up there to keep warm. So, you know, they see a lot of things.
The blood of their victims, maybe?
The blood of their victims. I meant the Mounties.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know, beer and poutine.
Okay.
You know?
Gotcha. So let's see what this one says.
Blood of their enemies.
Canadian woman relates a story told to her by her great uncle from the 1930s while in the RCMP. They encountered a huge bird that was reportedly taking sheep from the local people.
Ah.
Back in around the early 1930s, my granddad was a biplane pilot. Wow, biplanes. While his younger brother was in the cavalry, both RCMP lieutenants at the time. The elder having 2 years seniority over the younger. What happened?
Sugar britches.
Oh, sugar. Thank you.
I was missing my britches.
All right, so...
Just ask Brent.
Well, don't ask me about your britches. I don't know anything about your britches. They were stationed about 60 or 70 miles apart in Canada's northern wilderness. The cavalry brother, Mom's uncle, was in command of a small 30-strong contingent serving the area as a paramilitary police force. He said one day the locals came in a group of 3 respected elders to file a complaint of an eerie shrieking sound in the night and their sheep going missing. So he decided to take a small platoon of 5 Mounties and go up to the village where the supposed happenings were taking place to investigate and intervene if need be.
Because 5 Mounties isn't. They're terrifying. They brought 5 Mounties and they all smelled like maple syrup.
Absolutely. They bathe in it, I think, up there. They stayed in the village for 3 days without any incidents, patrolling the days and staying in the village by nights, but the night between the 3rd and 4th day, a young chap came bursting into the village inn to tell him that it struck again. So great uncle, as I might call him, took 4 of his Mounties, leaving 1 behind for liaison, and rushed to the scene. He and his troops heard the terrible, eerie shrieking, all right, and unlike the villagers who were huddled with fear, galloped toward the sound, following the military instinct of always go toward the sound of calamity. It was reasonably moonlit night. When they approached this rocky area, they saw the culprit. According to the exact description great uncle told me, it was some kind of bird of prey. Not possible
Is it Klingon?
Not possible to put a finger on the color due to the light conditions, of course, but presumably some fuzzy dark reddish brown. It was perched on a rock shelf, and from what he judged was around as tall as me. I was 16 at the time. And he told me this story and around 1.81 meters tall at that position. It paid no attention to the cavalry platoon, although the horses had been spooked and were snorting, neighing and shuffling with all the gear of the Mounties clattering due to all that movement, etc. Oh, thank you, Elaine.
she's all FOMO. Don't want FOMO.
His sergeant offered to shoot the thing, and the great uncle agreed, ordering to dismount and fire at will. However, the bird seemingly heard this and took to the sky. He described it as not simply bouncing up into the air and flying away like some sparrow or pigeon. He said it threw itself down from the rock shelf. It was perched to a free fall while spreading its wings and flapping strongly until it gained altitude. He also added that it took the creature some considerable effort to rise up and fly. He then estimated the wingspan to be around 3 to 3.5 meters.
Wow. Yeah.
He said he didn't feel like killing the majestic creature, but since it caused loss of property, he thought of it as duty and ordered fire. He said since the Mauser rifles they were equipped with did not fire tracers, so he cannot actually tell how accurate the shots were, but at the end the bird flew away, disappearing from sight into the dark. But after that night, the sounds and disappearing sheep incidents ceased, so they must have seriously wounded it, causing it to eventually succumb, he said. Wow. To summarize, the description goes 1.8 meters body length. Not sure if that tail is included or not. Presumably dark reddish brown. He later said the fuzzy was meant to describe it. It was a camouflage pattern like those of owls.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it's 3 to 3.5 meter wingspan, guessed to be to the tune of around 50 or 60 kilograms of weight. He was sober, serious, and no-nonsense gentleman. So I doubt he would make up such a story to impress a 16-year-old. Wow.
He was sober.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Hey, by the way, we make jokes, but happy Canada Day.
Oh, is it Canada Day?
It is Canada Day. So to all of our Canadian friends.
Here's a cheer for Canada. Hope you guys have had a great holiday. Is that like their 4th of July, or what is Canada Day?
Yeah, kind of. It's like they're, yeah, I posted it. Never mind. Hold on a sec. Canada Day is a national day of Canada, a federal statutory holiday. It celebrates the anniversary of Canadian Confederation, which occurred on July 1st. So it's basically their, their Independence Day. Yeah. Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. It's their becoming a nation day.
Okay.
There you go.
Gotcha. Well, fantastic. Hope it's been a great holiday up there for all you, Bill. We'll be having our America Day here pretty quick.
Yep.
Full of fireworks and
blowing shit up. Stuff up. Sorry.
It's all right. E2 Brutus. All right. We got another one from Phantoms and Monsters. Actually, I got two more. But we'll see what we're going to read here. This one's a Bigfoot report. And this one's coming from June 21st, 2022. And this is Bigfoot observed near Delaware River in Pennsylvania. Video and photos. There's a video, I guess, but we're not going to be able to see that. But we can see the photos if you're watching on YouTube. Otherwise, let me put a link here into the.
Rachel says, Canadians on this day, we get drunk and get really polite. There's nothing worse than a Canadian standoff. Oh no, you first. No, please.
No, by all means, I
please,
insist.
Yeah. I insist. It's you first.
I insist.
No. Yes. Let's go have a piece of bacon.
Let's go have some bacon and maple syrup and talk about it. I'm Minnesotan,
please,
so that's like.
Please allow me.
It's like Canada Light.
Canada Light.
Yeah, that's like Minnesota. A boot. We don't say a boot, though. All right. This is a Bigfoot report from Pennsylvania.
Oh, boy.
It says this is a video that was recently posted that shows a possible Bigfoot traipsing about on a hillside near the witness property near the Delaware River in Pennsylvania. I've gathered a few screen captures from the video. It's an interesting recording for a lot of reasons, but the fact that the upright creature continued to enter that field of view is intriguing. All right. That's kind of got a different... Okay. I'll read the text to it in a minute here, but initially it doesn't seem like the arms are long enough, but... All right, let's see what it says here. So some people have referenced this as a human in a suit, although I'm not sure that is the case in this instance. Others have stated that there were a few other small Bigfoot in the recording. Watch the video and tell me what your thoughts. I don't really have any. I haven't watched the video. I don't really know where the video is personally, but I don't see an active link here unless clicking on this.
2019? Is that?
2019.
Video from 2019, yeah.
Yep, it was posted. But here's the thing. If there's definitely a biology that seems to be pretty consistent in Bigfoot reports, and that is essentially their arms and the legs of a real Bigfoot are going to be about the same, whereas people's arms are about a third again shorter than their legs. Right. From shoulder to wrist, from hip to ankle. There's quite a bit of difference in size, and so. Here's the conundrum, though, is that there are reports of people seeing Bigfoot or seeing something that is like a Bigfoot that seems to have more human dimensions in that regard. Now, I don't know. I can't even begin to fathom the possibilities, but is there potentially a few different things out there that we just call Bigfoot out of, a commonality of the term, or are these... things that aren't, that have more human dimensions, are those hoaxes? I don't know. I've literally heard plenty of reports through the years of people witnessing these other things that look way more human-like in dimension and size, except being covered in hair. But they talk about their arms being the same length as a person's, not that long dragging arms that go down to about the knees. So I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it. So it's not without precedence that there are reports of people seeing something that appears to be like a Bigfoot, but doesn't share that commonality in the arm length.
Right.
I don't know. The other part that I'm seeing in this that is curious is that it doesn't seem to have the more forward lean
Right.
that I would expect, but I don't know if the camera was steady. It might have been tilted at the time of this capture for this image.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that we don't know. It does seem to be pretty broad, but not beyond human dimension, you know.
Right.
So it's curious, but I'll tell you that Thinker Thunker did a great job breaking that down. And if you want to get the actual numbers or the way that he measures it, it makes a lot of sense to me. At least for the most part, it's a great way to eliminate some hoaxes
Right.
that really do look like people in suits. It's like, well, the arms are nowhere near long enough. And even from this image, and for those of you just listening, not seeing visual images, this one is more of a back view of it appearing to walk away from the person with the camera. And the arm is out to the side, but it doesn't look like it's extraordinarily long.
Right.
But it does appear to have a pretty broad back. So it's anybody's guess. Now, the big takeaway is like with Patty a lot of people claim, well, that's somebody in a suit.
Right.
To be as broad as that, for a person of that would fit into that suit, could never have had that broad of a shoulders. If a person was in that, their arms would be out at the sides just to fill out the width,
Right.
and then the arms would hang down from there, from the elbows to the wrists. Well, there's obviously articulation in the Patty film, showing some motion to the fingers, the wrists, and stuff. So there does seem to be a real strong precedent for that to be a legitimate film of a Sasquatch.
Unless you know Lou Ferrigno, you know.
Even Lou, though, I mean, he's pretty broad.
Yeah, and
But-
his arms still hang out, you know,
Right.
because of the delts and the things and
Yep,
all of his
the
muscles.
latissimus.
They still do this, wide thing, know.
Yeah.
So they're not straight down to his sides.
Right. And you can see in the Patty film of the muscles actually, flexing and engaging in the motion that you're seeing. It's not just a
Right.
drape of fabric.
Right.
So, I don't know if this is legit or not, but it's there. You can think of what you want. And I don't know the video. I don't see an actual link. I guess it's right here on the top. So if you look at that link, and I'll put it in the YouTube chat as well, so that people can check out the video if they choose, and let us know what they think in the comments or whatever. But it's in the video and the YouTube chat as well.
Right.
And you can check it out. I don't know. Did I put it in TFR? Yeah, that I did. So it's there, folks. You can check it out at your leisure. And I got one more from Phantoms and Monsters to cover tonight. And this is another Sasquatch one. And it's Sasquatch startles canoers on Pine River in Wisconsin.
You have 3 minutes.
I have 3 minutes. So we'll get to this after we come back from break.
Right.
But I do want to take a couple seconds then, and since we got the time, and just talk about that, because I think that while there may be a biodiversity in a species, I don't know if it would include the length of the arms, because in humans we look very different from one another, but we do have consistent factors.
Right.
Our arms are a certain percentage of the length of our legs,
Right.
no matter who you are. Even Robert Wadlow who was basically almost 9 feet.
Yeah.
His arms and legs still had the same percentage of distance, along with the other problems that being that tall caused him, and he led a very short life. But he was an enormous guy. He was Bigfoot sized, but he didn't have that same broadness, that same muscular appearance. And I mean, by and large, being that large, he was largely crippled,
Right.
and could barely go up on his feet. So.
Well, and think of this, so like EMTs, like specifically burn victims and things like that, they have this thing called the rule of 9. And what that means is that your head and neck area is 9% of your dermal body. Okay. Your chest and your upper back is 9%. Both your arms are 9% each. Your abdomen and your lower back are 9% each. So, think of that. So if our arm, each of an arm is 9% of our overall dermal covering. And by the way, it says genital area is 1%. I think mine's more like 0.52, but that's beside the point. Anyhow, so you think about how big a Bigfoot should be. They're going to be they're going to have the longer arms, they're going to have the longer legs. You know, they're going to be disproportionate to this particular type of statistic. So you know, you think of it that way as well. I mean, each arm is 9% of your dermal exposure. So
sure, that's an interesting take, and I did not know that, but there just seems to be a consistency in physiology. So
right.
I think it's a great rule, at least to challenge claims, especially photos and stuff, because photos are tough as evidence in and of themselves. But one thing you can do is look at those ratios. Do they match? Do they make sense to what we've observed? And you know, a lot of times they don't. And it's heartbreaking because I'd love to believe that the people were capturing a lot of Bigfoot out there in photos and videos, but unfortunately, there's a very rare thing apparently. But anyway, we're gonna be back, ladies and gentlemen. One last break, and then we'll do the home run to the finish. So we'll see you right back here in just a couple minutes.
Let me give you 3 key points on that.
Hey, everybody, we're back. And
Hey, everybody.
as always, we're back with more of the action you've come to love here on the portal. And lots of things going on. Special thank you to those of you who became members tonight. That's really surprising. Again, it was just kind of one of those things like, wonder how that'll be received. But I'm just really thrilled that you guys have embraced that. And thank you so much. You guys have always been incredible and generous and wonderful. And I know, here's the thing. I know that sometimes financial things are real tough for all of us. And so I hope you guys understand it's not, it's just another way to hopefully help to make the show grow and to give us the ability to do more things. I want to bring you a show that continues to evolve and continues to encompass other aspects that, of course, they do have barriers in place. And so we've got to come up with ways to overcome those. And that's basically the biggest motivation. So I hope you understand it. It's not meant to be for any other reason than just to help the show grow. So thank you for that.
What he means is we love you all.
We do love you all, and including and certainly the membership isn't a barrier to that. You already have our love. That was free, like it or not. So,
and if you don't, it's just a snuggle with the struggle.
Jesus, why? Why? All right, so I've got this last report from Phantoms and Monsters I want to get to because I've had these tabs open for weeks, and we've had a lot of wonderful involvement from you guys in the form of call-ins for the last several shows, so I never got to them, but I thought, well, you know what, we can go through them tonight, so that's what we're doing, and the next one up from Phantoms and Monsters is a Sasquatch one. It has to do with canoers being startled on the Pine River in Wisconsin, so... if you, also any of you with TikTok out there, look for the Paranormal Portal on TikTok because it's there. This is a cool story. I think we'll find out for sure, but everything on Phantoms and Monsters is really interesting. And then we're going to go to a couple of reports from Sasquatch Chronicles blog after that. So there's lots more yet to come. No excuse for leaving early. So this is one. A woman and her husband are in a canoe on the Pine River in Wisconsin. As they round a bend, they suddenly see a Sasquatch running across the river about 50 feet in front of them. Oof. That has got to be a sight. I'm sorry. Of all the things, would you even canoe past that point anymore? I'd be turning around like, nope, we're noping back to where we came from.
Well, who was it that was on the podcast that said that they followed... They went across. It was one of our Australian peoples.
Yeah, the Dogman thing. Yeah, right.
No, it was he was going across the creek. It was a wide creek, maybe a small river. And maybe I don't know. I can't remember who.
Well, we've had so many podcast shows. I mean, we've got over 1,000. How many on YouTube now?
Well, yeah.
At least 1,200 or something like that episodes.
Yeah, we're probably approaching 1,000 podcasts as well.
Well, we're at about 300. No, 276.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep.
So, but here's this report. Let's get to it. And this is in August 2011. My husband and I were dropped on the Pine River. That was not very nice. That's not very nice. In Florence, Wisconsin, to do a 3-hour canoe trip. The river was low.
It's a 3-hour tour.
Yeah, I saw that show.
You know there's a problem there.
Stop killing it. The river was low, and we walked our canoe a lot of the way. It was a sunny, beautiful day, and we witnessed a lot of wildlife. Then when we came around a bend, we saw something about 50 feet in front of us run across the river. It was a typical Bigfoot-looking creature. It was brown, hairy, and large, and it splashed across the river, which was very low, but only something that weighed as much as it did could do. I turned around and then looked at my husband, and we both said, "What was that?" There was no campgrounds or cabins in this area of the river. We thought maybe it was someone in a ghillie suit, but it was August and no one was hunting. Then we thought maybe it was a person that was growing marijuana and was trying to scare us away. So I called the DNR later and I asked if there were any reports in the area of marijuana growing, and they said no. We continued to paddle up past that point that we saw this creature, and we were very scared because it disappeared when it hit the riverbank and made no sound at all. So we thought it was hiding and waiting for us. We had no weapons and no phone service, and it was the most eerie feeling having to paddle past where we saw it cross. It was so quiet that if it would have ran in the woods, we would have heard it. But there was no sound and no sign of him. After that, I've never paddled so fast in my life. I was visibly shaking when we finally got picked up at our drop point. To this day, we don't know what we saw, and people think we're crazy when we tell them the story, but I know what I saw, and it wasn't a bear and it wasn't a man. So my only conclusion is it was Sasquatch. That's pretty wild. That's transcribed source from the Facts by How to Hunt. Oh, that's Steve Isdall's show. Yep. So I tell you what, that's got to be a horrible feeling, and to know that you got to pass that.
Yeah.
So if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you got no service, it's not like you can call and just go, you know what, we're changing our mind, pick us up back at the start.
We're scared.
I mean, you're
scared.
going one direction on
That's
that deal.
Yeah,
that's all there is. So
you decide to float the river, you're gonna float the river, my friend, whether you like it or not.
You know, what is the river out by your place called? The Pack River?
Pack River.
You got to wonder if there's people seeing stuff in there, because that goes through some pretty rugged areas, doesn't it?
From where the top of the Pack River is, there's a lot of people seeing stuff up there. And
is there?
It's not because of... It's because of the stuff they're doing.
Oh.
Let's say that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my goodness. It's like mess central up there. I mean, it's... But no, you can. Yeah, it's like
it's Breaking Bad up there.
It's like a 30-mile float. It really is. It's huge, and it goes right past my house.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, that wouldn't be the funnest part of the whole trip, but
no, because especially if you look up and see Don up there, I'm probably peeing in the wild.
And you didn't know it, but Don likes to sit outside and play banjo when people tube on by. Hey, you got a pretty mouth.
Hey, I hear banjos.
Okay, Becky, paddle.
Why do you think I call it a 5-family freezer?
Yeah, no doubt. But I think that's one of those things that it would take a lot of courage to go past that point.
No kidding.
Because they didn't hear it go anywhere else. Now, I will say that there are many, many reports of people watching these things traverse what is normally very noisy terrain, like leaf litter and sticks, where they couldn't walk without making a huge racket, but somehow these creatures, these beings, are able to traverse that very gently and very stealthily.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So, what do I want to know? Oh, no. Yeah, oh, no. Yeah, well, let's move along. Moving along. So, that was the last report from Phantoms and Monsters for the night. Again, special thanks to Lon Strickler. And we appreciate that a bunch. Which one was I on here? That one, yeah. There we go.
Yep, that's
okay. Let me go back to this one while I figure out where the next one is. Where I figure it out, Don.
Wow.
Did we do this one?
There's some pretty good stories. Yes, we did that one.
I did that.
Yeah,
one.
because I hypothesized about the chromosomes.
Yep. Oh, this is another one. I'm going to do this one tomorrow. That one will be cool. There's a couple of stories now from Sasquatch Chronicles that I want to visit here. And again, Wes is obviously a great friend and a good friend of the show. And he's made a lot of the elements. This lower third that you're viewing, he made the news intro.
He's getting pretty handy.
He is. Yeah, he's a creative, savant. I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he whips up some of the craziest stuff. It's like Unknown is a good friend of the show as well and has made many of the transitions that you see.
True.
And so now, I mean, we've got these incredible people just contributing all over the place. But this one comes from Sasquatch Chronicles. Now, again, I like to say this at the beginning because I know everybody knows Sasquatch Chronicles. It's like you wouldn't be here if you didn't know of Sasquatch Chronicles because you can't be into the paranormals and cryptid stuff without knowing Sasquatch Chronicles. But a lot of people think it's just a podcast, and it's a huge podcast, wonderful show. But it's also an incredible website. Yeah. And so I encourage you guys to go check it out because there's lots of things posted about things in the community of the paranormal and the Fortean topics, as well as just the Sasquatch stuff. So Wes does has a real broad scope in what he covers on the site. and there's some incredible information that may never make it onto his podcast, but it's out there for you to check out. So
Absolutely. Yep.
stop over to SasquatchChronicles.com and check it out.
Oh, hey, there's a phone call.
There's a phone call. Oh, okay. Well, let's get to this. Let's see, where am I? All right, and this is area code 845. You're on the air.
Good evening, gentlemen. Do you
Hello.
know who this is?
Hello, Farm. How the hell are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys doing?
We're
well,
doing
buddy.
good. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing better these days, put it that way.
Good. Well, that's a good thing. What's on your mind tonight, brother?
Yes, it is. I want to talk a little bit about the Bigfoot stuff. Bob Gimlin, the YouTube channel Bob Gimlin,
Oh,
just
GY.
released a video last Sunday, and it was an encounter that a guy had with Bigfoot, and they were talking about. He was talking about his uncle had dissected this thing, sort of a crude version of it. They were talking about there being an extra chamber on the heart and actually retractable fangs in the mouth, which I thought was really interesting because I hadn't heard that before.
No, I haven't either. Huh. Okay. Well, that's really weird. It's funny because you're the second person now that's referenced that video, and I still haven't checked it out, but it's one that I'm going to have to check out. It sounds like it's pretty interesting.
Oh, very interesting. And actually, that channel was very interesting, too.
Oh,
He does
fantastic.
some really cool animations and he has some good information that's not part of the mainstream of the cryptid world, so to speak. But really excellent channel.
Sounds really cool. That sounds really cool. Sorry, what? What happened?
No, yeah, I'm using a headset so I can use a cell phone because my cell service here is horrible. So you're in and out of it, so I don't mean to interrupt you if you're talking.
Oh, no.
I don't mean to interrupt.
You're doing fine, brother. You're doing fine. But yeah, I think it's great if you what is the channel name? Is it Bob Gimlin? GYMLAN?
Yes, Bob Gimlin. BOB space GYMLAN. Bob
Okay.
Gimlin.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Patterson Gimlin, of course, Bob Gimlin. But yeah, I've heard about his channel for years, and I know I've checked out some of his videos over the time, and he's always done a really good job. So we'll have to check that out. But retractable fangs, huh?
Wow, yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Actually, the thing that I found more interesting was the extra heart chamber. That would make a lot of sense why they can run up steep slopes for long distances like they can. Because even humans, if you scale us up to that size, we still don't have the sort of endurance and power output that they do.
Right.
Right. That is really bizarre. I'm wondering, is it like we have 4-chambered hearts? So I wonder what the 5th chamber would do that gives it so much more stamina. I mean, because it's like oxygenated blood and non-oxygenated blood. So, I mean, wonder what that 5th chamber would do.
That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
But I do know that my brother and I used to tickle trout when we were younger.
Used to
And
what?
My brother tickle trout.
Oh, what
Heard
is
of that? Tickling?
I never heard of that.
You're catching trout with your bare hands.
Oh, gotcha.
Not fishing poles or spears or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, noodling is a little different. That's more catfish, and that's more in like sort of more of a muddy stream.
Right.
Trout tickling is a little bit different of an art, but very similar. Yeah, same concept.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so my brother found this 21-inch brown trout in the stream in East Branson, Delaware, and he caught it in this pool, and he was running it back and forth in the pool, and wearing it down basically so it would finally go under a rock ledge and he could actually catch it.
Okay.
And his argument was, it's got a 2-chamber heart, I got a 4-chamber heart, I can outlast it. So he kept it running, and he ended up getting it.
Oh, wow.
There's actually a really great picture of him with it. But, so I don't know. So maybe a 5th chamber would improve circulation and therefore oxygen exchange both into the lungs and also delivery to the muscles and other parts of the body.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. It's just it's a peculiar adaptation that I never would have considered before. Or I mean, and I'm not like a biologist or anybody with any merit in that regard. But usually, those things, I guess, are well beyond my understanding. But that is really fascinating.
Yeah, I thought so too. I had never heard any like autopsy type details before.
Right.
So I thought it was interesting just to do that. And I think this guy's encounter is legit. Bob actually went and interviewed this guy, and he actually showed a few clips of the interview. And the guy seems very legit, very
Oh, fantastic.
It seems like it really happened to him. He doesn't seem like a BSer.
Well, cool. I'm definitely going to check that out. But thank you, brother. It's great to hear from you as well. And I'm glad things are going okay.
You're very welcome. Great to hear from you, too. One other quick thing.
Sure.
A couple of weeks ago, when I was listening to the Portal, I was having a little campfire at the old farm out in the back, and I actually had a tree push over on a dead quiet, still night, as you guys were just talking about Bigfoot.
Wow. Wow.
Are you calling them in? Are you doing calls and whoops and stuff?
No. No, but I have had interactions with them there before, and so I kind of know they're around there.
Right.
And I don't disturb them, and they don't disturb me. I don't mess with them.
That's the way to be.
Yep. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely not, brother. Well, you take care of yourself and stay in touch, man. Keep calling in whenever you got something on your mind.
You too. Good to talk to you guys. Good to be back along with the Portal folks.
Excellent.
Have a great evening, weekend, and happy Independence Day.
There you go.
All right, you as well, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. All right.
Very cool.
So I happen to know a little bit about something that a lot of people should know about because it happened in modern sports as we know it. What's his name? The bicyclist. What's his name? Armstrong.
Oh, yeah. Lance
Okay,
or
so
whatever.
here's the deal. Here's the advantage that I could find with an extra chamber of the heart.
Okay.
And it has to do with what we call blood doping. Blood doping is an illicit method of improving athletic performance by artificially boosting the blood's ability to bring more oxygen to muscles. In many cases, blood doping increases the amount of hemoglobin in the bloodstream. Hemoglobin is an oxygen-carrying protein in the blood. So increasing hemoglobin allows higher amounts of oxygen to reach and fuel the athlete's muscles. This can improve stamina and performance, particularly over long distance events such as running and cycling. So if they have a fifth chamber, this would be the result of that fifth chamber. It super oxygenates and creates more hemoglobin to carry the oxygen to the blood, through the blood into the muscles, and give them that extra stamina that so many people talk about. So it makes sense. So yeah, Lance Armstrong was accused of blood doping, and that's why he's so good. That's why he can go up those hills and down those hills and around those curves so blinking fast. Well, whether it's true or not, blood doping is a real thing. And so there you have it. That would be the advantage of having an extra chamber to your heart.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's all Greek to me, but it's really cool. I mean, there's
H3O, yes, H3O, yeah.
there's got to be some reason that it's beneficial for them. But yeah. And I don't doubt that there are physiological things. I just wonder if other primates do any. Is there any example in other primates of extra chambered hearts?
I've never heard of anything.
Well, that's I mean, that's
so
something
that's
that be willing to look into because I mean, there seems to be certain biological standards in all hominoids and hominids and hominins that seem consistent even across species. And so it'll be interesting to look into that. But we'll let you know when we uncover those stones, as it were. So, as I mentioned, we're going to go to SasquatchChronicles.com and get into this article. And this one is from June 30th. It's brand new. A gorilla walking on all fours. A listener writes, I grew up in the Navajo Res. I grew up in a small very rural community called Newcomb, New Mexico. I was about 10 years old at the time of this sighting, with about 10 to 15 cousins/step-cousins ranging ages 4 to 16. 2 cousins were riding bikes down the dirt road, and this road passes several homes. The homes are spread very far apart with cornfields in between. It was midsummer in 1984 during midday. The 2 cousins, one female cousin about 10, one male cousin about 11 years old, rode back from the road that went towards the eastern direction and were telling us they saw a gorilla sitting in the shade under a tree. They were excited and scared. They said it was a gorilla and described it as such. My older brother, Dell, got a piece of paper and pencil and started drawing what the gorilla looked like. As he was finishing the drawing of the creature, a younger cousin, we were sitting in the room in my aunt's home and it was very crowded, and she yells, "It's right there," as she's pointing out the window. What I saw looked like a gorilla walking on all fours, and we all knew that was impossible to see on our res. We all then walked outside the house and stood outside. The gorilla noticed all of us, and it stood straight up, and from what I saw, I remember it being black all over, very tall, and had a slender build. I was telling one of the smaller kids to go inside and get an adult, but none of us would move. We were standing there dumbfounded with our mouths hanging open in amazement. No adult came out and did not witness the creature. Back then, I did not even think of it being a Bigfoot. We all thought it was a skinwalker. The Navajo Res is known for skinwalkers, UFOs, weird creatures, and Bigfoot. We have an amalgam of cryptids and the paranormal in general, and I've seen it all. Anyway, thinking back about what I saw as a child, I'm pretty sure it was a Bigfoot. My mother told me about 10 years ago about a rumor of a family of Bigfoot living within the rushes and tall Russian olive trees in a wash that comes from the mountain. She said they live there in the winter. We were just told never to wander around at night because the skinwalker will get you, and that is no lie. I guess Bigfoot was also out there. Huh. Our family also has a cabin in the Chusca Mountains on the Navajo Res. The mountain runs along the Arizona-New Mexico border, and my mother's older sister took her son and a couple of cousins fishing about 5 miles from the cabin. They were done and had successful catches of trout. My aunt did not want to drive an hour to get home because she felt tired, so they decided to go to the cabin. The cabin was not cleaned inside, so they decided to pitch their tents, and as they were doing this, they heard a man yelling up on the side of the ridge above the cabin. My aunt said the yell was very deep, and she could feel it in her chest. As she was facing the ridge with pine trees, she heard the man yell on the top left side of the ridge. Then about 30 seconds later, she said she heard a female version of the same yelling. She has heard many stories of Bigfoot in our mountain range, so she herded her son and the rest of the boys back up to pack up, and she said she was very startled and frightened because she knew it was a warning. My family and I have not camped out there in about 4 years due to being scared. But this summer, we plan to go. Wow. Yeah. That's absolutely amazing. Time is up, isn't it?
Time is up, yes.
Wow. So we got through that, folks. Unfortunately, we didn't get to the other one, but I will be back tomorrow night and bring you through the portal once again.
There you go.
Hopefully, I'll find a bunch of good things to cover with you guys. But in any case, boy, that's about the show, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Wow. Well, I hope you guys have had a great time. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we really appreciate you, all of you. And there's lots of ways to support the show. Certainly becoming a member is one of them. Another one is just being here, liking the streams. Give us comments. That helps a bunch with the algorithm. And let people know. Share the videos. That would help immensely. Not immensely, immensely.
You know, I don't know if you've noticed, but the dislike button, the thumb down button, it doesn't have a counter on it anymore. It just says dislike.
Yeah, it's been that way for quite a while.
Yeah, but it sucks because now I can't heckle people.
Wow. Well, we got 10 new members tonight.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much for that, guys. That really does mean the world. So, I'll be back tomorrow night. Don, you're not going to be here then.
Nope, not tomorrow night.
Not tomorrow night, nope. So it'll be just me
and barbecuing to do.
Got some barbecuing to do. Well, bring the leftovers on Wednesday.
Got the grandkids coming out, so there you go.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Very cool. All right, everybody. Don, anything in closing?
Teespring, our friends, for 15% off. Don't forget that. Trace said that she has a new, I think she said she has a t-shirt coming. So nice,
phenomenal.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Once again, thank you to all the new members. Fourth Kind was, of course, unfortunately, for everybody else, the first.
He was our first.
There you go.
Or she. I'm sorry, fourth. I forgot.
They were the first.
They were the first.
There you go. It's kind of hard sometimes.
I know there's so many names and faces and things floating through my
absolutely.
head. So I apologize if I misgender anybody, but I love you all the same.
Yep.
So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of the journey. As always, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. That's going to wrap it up for us. Good night, everybody.
Good night.